Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's recap of America's Got Talent live shows. So, if you don't know, um, 2 nights ago, Wednesday night, um, August 1st, was the last night of the live shows. Woo! And the live shows were great. Unfortunately, I was very surprised that the last night of live shows I thought they would really be good talent, and unfortunately, I had to kind of agree with Howie. And we'll talk about that in this episode. We'll talk about the different acts. And you guys don't know, put your recap on. I recap different talent shows and like America's Got Talent, like Songland, all these kinds of things. So if you like this kind of content, and if you do like this video, you can check out previous videos first by clicking on the channel below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and most of all, leave a comment because I like to have a conversation with you guys. So please leave a comment and hope you enjoy. Okay, now well, this week was the last week of live shows, like we said, and it started off with the cheer team, the CA Wildcat, and they were a dance act, and they reminded me, they reminded Howie also of the Unbeatable from last year, won America's Got Talent. We made it to the finale, and then they won America's Got Talent champions. Um, and they were incredible. People loved them. I loved them. They were really good. And you know how he was comparing them to the Unbeatable. And I understand that. I understand this, but not everybody is the Unbeatable. Not everybody that comes onto the AGT stage and is dance act needs to be like the Unbeatable. I think they were fairly, they weren't fairly close. I mean, the Unbeatable was just like incredible, but they were slowly getting there. I mean, they were pretty good. I mean, they weren't that far away from being as good as the Unbeatable. I mean, they did the similar kind of flips and the like, and who knows, blue, however, 20 people, whatever. They were similar kind of act in their dance. I think the last episode, they truly stepped it up. I think they were good. Howie didn't really like them that much. Either way, then next we have Kennedy Dodds, who she sang an original song, just like she did in the auditions. She's a country singer, and it was a nice song. I will say that. I only think like I think it was a nice song. I don't think it was incredible. I don't think it really showcased her voice. Like mentally, I didn't think I don't need necessarily high notes and powerful vocals. I think she has a beautiful voice without doing that. And I like that. I just don't think like the most incredible song for her. It was a nice song. She composed it. It's very impressive, but I just don't think. Not sure it was worth enough. And she made it through. But we'll talk about that. She made it through. Um, then we have Lightweight Theater Company. Kind of agree with Howie there. Like the audition was okay. This was okay. I mean, listen, the acting was nice, but the storyline, I got the basis of the storyline. I'm not sure I got the individual parts. Excuse me. I'm not sure I got the individual parts of the Lightweight Theater Company act, and I'm not. They're talented, and their acting is better than some other um theater acts. Whenever this act is called, their act their acting is better, but in terms of content and storyline, I think other acts that are similar have told it better, personally. And I don't think they stepped it up in their edition. They used the same puppet, they used the same girl, and you know it's a classic. Like, yeah, you need to be together during this time. Like, we could have I was expecting something like that. I was expecting. I honestly that that's what's gonna get you be inspirational. You know, I would have, but I wanted something that I wasn't expecting. During this Corona time, I was expecting to do something with Corona because that of people who could relate to nowadays. And I was hoping for something different, but unfortunately, I don't think they gave something different. I really don't. But either way, we have Selena, not Selena Cam, but Selena Graves. Selena Graves is a singer, and she's a beautiful rendition of a song called "Strong," and which it's a nice song. I think her voice is good. In my opinion, she seemed to waver a lot. Her voice seemed to waver a lot. I don't know if I was nerves. That's just how her voice sounds. I didn't really like the wavering. Kind of like that kind of thing, wavering your voice. And I didn't like it that much. I mean, Hallie didn't think it was incredibly. I thought it was good. I definitely think she has the talent there. I think if her voice hadn't wavered, it would have been great. It would have been incredible for her. I just think her voice wavered, and it just took away from the a little. It didn't make it sound more beautiful, the wavering. I know sometimes wavering can make it sound sad and whatnot. It didn't. It didn't. It really just it made it sound like she was nervous. She probably was. And listen, she ended up making it through. We'll get into that, but I was not a fan. Next, we have Divas and Drummers of Compton. So what they are a dance and a orchestra. But last night I didn't really see much orchestra. And the things I did see of the orchestra were kind of far away. It was hard to see the actual drumming and the like. Which I'm sure they were the what I heard of the drum was nice. And I'm sure it wasn't I'm sure it wasn't syncing. I'm sure they're actually doing that, actual drumming. I mean, I'm a drummer myself. I'm sure they were. But it was just hard to see. I saw a lot of the dancing. The dancing was not incredible per se. A lot of backflips and the like. We've seen that before. I was not impressed. And I mean, the judges seemed to like them. And whatever. I didn't like them. I didn't think they stepped it up per se. And I thought it was okay. And we have Noah Epps. Noah Epps, I kind of like. You know, he's unique. He's different and he's solo, you know. If it had been a group, if it had been a group doing this, I wouldn't have been that impressed. But he's a kid, and you can tell he's passionate about it, and it was pretty good. I mean, the wasn't moves that 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 I can't do. I wouldn't. Maybe I could do it. I actually think that maybe I could do it. Um, the background was a little eerie sometimes. It was hard to see because it was very far shot, and the lighting it was hard to see sometimes what exactly he was doing. You could tell sort of what he was doing, but it was hard to tell. But the judges loved him. Next we have Alex Hooper. I actually like Alex Hooper. You know, I couldn't get him last time he came at AGT. Not this season, but the last season he came at AGT. The judges hated him. He was bashing the judge and they hated him. There's so many people coming to bash the judges. What's the deal with him? And even tonight, Wednesday night, the Sofia Vergara and Heidi Klum weren't the biggest fan. Like people roast you all the time in AGT. Every year there's someone who comes and roasts the judges. It's just I don't know why there's so many people that are roasters, but they do. And it's sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not. I thought it was fairly funny. I didn't think it was the best comedian that we've seen on that season, but I think he was fairly good. And I like that he didn't just do comedy, he sat in his chair, he read from a book, and I like his reaction afterwards. And even when Heidi was like, yeah, it was like kind of in the middle of the performance trying to tell him like maybe don't go there. And he like it's as if he hadn't paid attention and he just was in his zone. I liked him. I thought it was fairly good. Was he my top five? I don't know. We'll get into that. Broken Roots. They sang the YouTube classic, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And they say I still haven't found what I'm looking for, and they did an incredible job. I kind of remember them from their audition. They had to sing a second song, if I recall correctly. I kind of like them. Um, but I think they were good. I think they really stepped it up. I like that song kind of, but I like the original. The covers I haven't in general like the covers per se, but for instance, Tanisha Harris on The Voice USA did a cover, and I wasn't a fan of it. They did like an upbeat thing. I wasn't a fan of it. And this they did harmony. They did they have nice voices. The one that has the slow, soft, like almost falsetto kind of voice is good. And then the other guy with his like rockish kind of voice, yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it. I think they were good. Howie was not the biggest fan of them, but they're talented and they're good and they're police there. I was very surprised they made it through. I was very surprised because they didn't really have any high notes. They didn't really have the general kind of singing performance that people like. They had the harmony. They had great harmony, no doubt about that. But just in general, people were like, they didn't really have the kind of vocals that people normally go for. But they were good, and I was really very worried for them. So I'm glad they made it through. And the Bella sisters, they do acrobatics, but they do kind of like personal. What they do workout kind of stuff. Um, and it was nice. They're clearly talented. They're clearly strong, and it was a bit. It's a bit. These kinds of acts are a bit slow for me. Like it takes forever to actually get into position. Like they do like 20 different really cool positions, but it takes like an hour to get into that position. And also, I mean, listen, they're talented. I just didn't think we've seen this kind of act before. We've seen them do similar things, maybe not the exact position, but we've seen people do similar kind of things where they do like crazy positions and on top of each other, people doing push-ups and pull-ups and who knows what. Um, bench pressing. We've seen this kind of act where they do these kinds of workout kind of things in crazy positions. Maybe not the same exact positions as the Bell sisters, but I don't think they were that unique. And we have Brandon Leake. I actually like him. I think he's talented at what he does, and that's important. I think I'm not the biggest fan of poetry. I don't think he's the most incredible act of the night, but I think the fact that I'm not a poetry, yeah, I still like it when he performs. I don't. I kind of like when he performs. So incredible. I don't think it was the best acting in that, but I think he was good. I think he's really, really good at what he does, and he makes me kind of like it, which is I think is very good, which is why I'm liking him. So the fact that he's really good at what he does, I think he deserves to go far because I like that he's bringing uniqueness. I like the uniqueness of it. He's pretty good and he's unique. The fact that he's unique makes it a good act, makes it a worthy act that I don't mind going through. He made it through. Obviously, no surprise there. Um, anyways, those kind of were the acts. And the acts that made it through Kennedy Dodge made it through. A bit of a surprise since her vocals weren't like incredible high notes, but kind of not a surprise because they love the kid singers. When Kelvin Dukes didn't make it through, it was very surprising. Um, Resound were, by the way, got to mention this. Resound were a trio came on. Their audition was incredible. I thought they were one of my favorite acts of the season, singing acts. They were definitely, and they still are one of my favorite singing acts of the season. They sang a song called "Fall on Me." Wasn't really that familiar with the song, but I think they did a good job. I think I agree with Howie kind of. I mean, Howie really likes them. He said, and I do think their audition was better. Their audition definitely was better. They had higher notes. The harmony was more. It's a better song choice, more relevant to what we need nowadays. I mean, it was a good song choice. It's also a very inspirational song, but their audition was better, and I don't I don't think it was good. But I think it was extremely good, and I'm very glad that they didn't make it through. My top five acts, by the way, were CA Wildcats. I really loved them. Then were Resound was number two. Number three was Broken Roots. I really loved them. Number four was Random Leak. Kind of controversial. I'm not really sure whether it should be number four, but it was number four. And then I would have to say number five is a tie between Kennedy Dodds and Noah Epps. Um, but I would have to say probably Noah Epps is original what he does, but I think Kennedy Dodds was. I liked him more. I mean, not a professional singer, but I liked him more. Selena Graves is a close top five, but because of her wavering voice, I wasn't a fan. But Rizal didn't make it through, unfortunately. But like I said, Kennedy Dodds made it through. Broken Roots made it through, which was surprising. Brandon Leake, of course, made it through. And then Divas and Drummers of Compton, Selena Graves, and CA Wildcats were the save. So Selena Graves made it through with the Dustin save, and then subsequently, the judges had to choose. Sorry, not CA Wildcats. My bad. It was Bellow Sisters. It was Bellow Sisters, and I was very gutted that Resound didn't make it through because uh, I think Bellow Sisters are a bit more unique. I don't know if they're unique, but I think they are a bit more unique than Resound. So the fact that the judges put them through instead of Resound, I was surprised because I think Resound was they're just much better at what they do. Um, Not to say that those aren't talented. I just think we've seen that before. Resound was also seen before, but it's still like it's gets you every time. Those just don't get me every time. But that's it. That's this episode. That's what you put your recap on. Next week starts the semifinals. We'll talk about that. And they were lacking in talent. Hopefully next week they bring the talent. And if you guys did like this video, check out more videos below. And maybe I'll put the link to to previous episodes below in the description. Leave a comment, please. Say hi. Takes 3 seconds, literally. And enjoy and like, subscribe, leave a comment. Please leave a comment and adios. Have a good night. Thank you so much for watching. This is Put Your Recap On.